Hi everybody, this is the Rambling Toffee podcast, up for another episode. And well, what a great weekend again for Everton. What a great performance yesterday against Wolves. And that's 3 wins in the last 6 days, 7 days. And we're fifth in the table currently. Okay, the league table doesn't mean anything at this stage. Um, but it's just been absolutely amazing to see our club, perform the way that they did yesterday. I'll get into the game in a moment, but it's just been for Evertonians, myself and everybody else over the last few years, the struggles off the field, on the field, all the points deduction, and everything else. I'm seeing, you know, with the new owners that come in and you know, being able to actually spend some money, being able to bring in some players, you know, better quality players, and that's what we all wanted. We want to see the club grow and to progress and to get better. Um, and for me, what we saw against Brighton, we see bits of what I think we're going in that direction. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I think even after yesterday's game, there's still a lot of work to be done. And I think more on the defensive side of things, which is a bit surprising from the fact that we normally on a defensive setup last season predominantly we've been very very good, not conceding as many as other clubs in the Premier League, and it's been more our attacking side of things. But over, we brought the little bit of quality in. Obviously, Jack Grealish. We can talk about Jack Grealish. I'll talk more about it as we go through the my review of the Wolves game yesterday. And Dewsbury Hall, those three, and with Taylor Dibbling coming in as well. We've got Alcaraz on the bench. We've got some good strength on the bench that can come on whenever we needed. When we need to make changes, which is really good and something that we have. I've also want to put out, James Garner has actually had really been playing really well for last 3 games predominantly. And even probably even in the Leeds game, he was probably one of the better players that we had, especially in that second half, playing out of position. And he's actually it seems to be he's decided to up his game. But yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done. On a defensive sense, obviously we've got injuries with Jared Bradford being out currently. Hopefully he'll be back after the international break. Well, we'll wait and see on that one. Obviously, Michael came back yesterday, so he's had a couple of games. But also, we have still in a transfer. You've got 2 more days left of the transfer window, and there's no noise out there at the moment. But I can't give you anything as of recording of this episode. So, I'm hopeful that we have a right back coming in. I know Jake O'Brien's done okay in that position, but we need somebody in that position. We need somebody to actually take it on that um, take on that role and allow the opportunity for Jake O'Brien to push himself as a centre back, because that's his preferred position. But we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, we also need obviously another central midfielder, because the biggest concern I have, and probably you guys probably have to have, when the AFCON comes on later around December time, we're missing. We're going to miss Ndiaye as well, but I've got backup for that. But we're going to miss Trezeguet, and we need somebody to go in that position. So I'm hopeful. There's no noise out there at the moment. I keep hearing little bits here or there from people saying they think 2 are going to come in, but nothing's been put out there. There's no links out there. The only thing that's been out there at the moment is Jimity, who's going to Rangers. So it's only an outgoing. So we don't know anything about Harrison Armstrong as well at the moment. So I don't know if he's coming or going. There's rumours he's going for Preston. But anyway, let's get on to the game yesterday. Wolves 2, Everton 3. And, the team set up as you would expect. We had Pickford in goal, obviously, Michael Keane, Tarkowski, Mikalenko coming back in, obviously, and Jacob Bryan playing on the right. And then in your midfield is Jimmy Garner, Trezeguet, Dewsbury Hall, Jack Grealish and Ndiaye, and then you've had Beto up front. Um, and it was, what was expected really. And we just went from the get go. We were just playing rings around Wolves. Wolves didn't know what hit them. The football, the fluidity, players moving from different positions. Seeing Jack Grealish going from one side, going into the central in a 10, going into the left, mixing it, going back in two. Seeing Dewsbury Hall doing the same things, linking up. The link up play was fantastic. And obviously the first goal, you know, good passing movements, got to Mikalenko, great ball into Mikalenko's crossing is getting a bit better, I'm finding. Still a lot of improvement because we'll talk about his defensive lapses later on in this in this podcast. But I will say that cross came in, good header cross by Grealish, Beto on the end of it, and I thought Beto again was helping in the link-up play because he's getting more opportunities, and I thought he had a good game yesterday. I said in the previous podcast I'm a bit hit and miss with him at the moment. He needs to be more consistent and show that in every game that we play as we go on. Obviously, he's not going to go anywhere. I don't know if we're going to get another striker in, but I think there's going to be. I think Dave Moyes said after the interview, after the game yesterday, that there's going to be like alternate. They're going to alternate between him and Barry to give, to keep it fresh and keep it, going in that and keep challenging them to actually want to, to get game time or start games and score goals because that's what they're there to do. But he was a lot better yesterday, in periods. And I think it was the fact that we've got such good players who are higher up than other players. And it just seems to what I was watching, it's a lot of players they're saying now that pressure that we have to have, or a lot of players that we have, is, it's like lifted a little bit and it's been released and like, thinking now we've got somebody that can get us goals and somebody can create opportunities, which we didn't have a lot last season. And we've obviously, as I say, on the bench, we've got the Alcarazes, we've got, the Barrys on there, and we've got the Dibblings, and we've got players on there who are creative and can create opportunities at any turn and opportunity. So we've got that strength there a little bit, but we need more. Obviously, as I mentioned about the transfer window, and we need a few more. We need a lot more, and I think it will go on into probably January if we get an opportunity to get anybody in January, and then on to next summer. But it's what we're seeing. But that start, 1-0 up, everything going well, creating opportunities. We could have been out of sight, but as per usual, it just takes one moment, bang bang, and they equalise, and it was like that. And it was just poor defensive, not in the right directions. It was just like a blah. And it was against the run of play. It was against anything that we, we did all that hard work. We got in that great position. We were playing really, really well. And it's against Wolves, obviously. We've not won there properly since 2012 with fans. And it's just like we need, we never get, it's like bogey ground, really. We've never really got results at Wolves at any point. So for me, that hitting there, here we go again. Typical Everton, just typical. But it was 1-1. We got back into it again. We start playing our games, obviously. But I'll always say where the work is needed is still we're keeping possession. And this is still there, is when certain players, and it's just certain positions, when there's nothing on, not try to get forward, they go back to Jordan Pickford, go back and go back. It needs to stop that. We need to keep the press on, because when we press like we did in points throughout that game, we're unstoppable, and you can see that, and the confidence is oozing through players. But we need to stop that. We need to stop certain players getting bored and making silly decisions, and we continued. And I'll mention in that second goal, but that Wolves got in a bit. But we go again. Jack Grealish get an opportunity. He gets through. Great set. Goalkeeper saves it. Comes back out. But what do? We just don't back off. We went back in. Got the ball again. Beto was linked into Grealish, Dewsbury Hall and Ndiaye all working. And the pass that um, Grealish did to for Dewsbury Hall to go through and then knock it across the line. Beto just nudged it a little bit and it just went to Ndiaye 2-1. And the expectation we could have been out of sight, and we could have been out of sight, but again, it's like putting the opportunities away and doing it more often to be more consistent when that happens. But we're 2-1 up at half time, and for me, you were expecting that we'll come back out second half, put in the go again, and we did. And we went again, and that third goal, again, it was again by pressing the Wolves players, pressing them to make the error. It deflected off Mikalenko and a pass by Trezeguet to Grealish, and then that pass, simple pass through to Dewsbury Hall. It was that simple pass. It was he saw the player was coming, so he dinked it over him, and that finish by Dewsbury Hall was out of this world. 3-1 up, coasting. You just thought we could have gone 4-5, could have won anything else. But this is where the work has to begin to continue, and the consistency, and to nail it out. I think the decision by Moyes to bring off Idrissa Gueye shouldn't have happened. I think because after that we backed off. They got the second goal with a terrible error, I think, between Keane and Mikalenko, not who's calling for that, and it was just a simple goal, and it put that pressure on for the last 10 minutes of the game, and we didn't need that pressure. We could have been way, way, way out. Further goals, we could have just completely, demolished them. But no, it had to go through the route, and then they got 6 minutes of injury time from I don't know where from, and obviously the changes near the end may have upset the bounce a little bit, but it was, other than that, it was great to see. I got to see some of the football. It's not what I've seen for a long time. I've not seen for a long time from Everton, and it's progressive. It's creating opportunity after opportunity, and we're going to get a game where we could hit 5 or 6. It's just a matter of time. Somewhere it's going to happen, but we need to be positive. As a fan, I'm being positive, and I know out there's Martin. I've listened. I saw you from the podcast previously. Absolutely agree with a lot of what you said, and the right players, the wrong players, what values and players that want should have come in, and what Hammond and Kinnear, at the moment it's kind of like a big question mark against them, because you know there are players out there that's probably young players, why you can probably get better deals on. Why have we not gone after them? I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Hopefully, but all I can go when I watch it's not criticism of you, because I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and I hope this recruitment team, I hope they get it right. I hope in time we can get the recruitment right and we get the right players that you mentioned that are out there, and hopefully we'll in not might not be a January window. It probably be the next summer window that we can get a lot of good young talent from throughout the world who can come in and then strengthen and get better and better and better. And I can only look at the players that we've signed, um, and what they're doing currently. And Jack Grealish has been an inspiration to the team, and he's just upped our game, up the levels in certain players, and hopefully we get a consistency from them. And that's what we're hoping we're seeing. Dewsbury Hall is another one. As much as what you think of him, the value of the player, yes, I think Chelsea spent the same amount of money on him that we did. So, we should have got him. Maybe if they're letting him go, we should have got him a bit cheaper than that. But it's been paid for. That's for another story. But for me, they've come in and they've done a job. And basically, they've come in and done a job at the moment. And it'll be down to consistency. It'll be down to if we get injuries. It'll be down to all the games we play, and everything else we'll have to see as the seasons go on. But long enough is this point in time. 4 games in. We're fifth in the table. Doesn't mean much at this point, as I say, but we're doing well. and we're playing well, and it's exciting, it's interesting, it's great stuff, and it's going to take next couple of weeks. I wish we were playing next week, but we've got another couple of weeks before we play Villa. Everybody, when we go to Hill Dickinson Stadium, we're all going to be optimistic, positive, and hopefully we're not going to have any kind of injuries through the international break, and we can go into that game against Villa and really push on and get ourselves even further up the table, get further away from all the, further down the table, away from all the where all the teams are going to be struggling, and get ourselves further and further. But it's going to be about consistency, and because of the team not having the biggest the biggest squad, and that's why I keep saying hopefully we can get a couple more players in by tomorrow. But it will, if we can strengthen it a bit and have a bench that's a little bit better, we can probably push a little bit more on, and just see where we go with it, really. But let's enjoy it, and it's great, and it's just nice after the struggles that we've had over the last few years, the points deductions, the managers, the teams that we've had, and the inconsistencies and everything about it, that we can enjoy watching our team perform, like that, and to continue to do that. And if we can get, Jared Bramthwaite back in, if we can get the defence back to what we know is best and get that balance right, and working off both sides of this and get a good nucleus of a team, we can go we can do whatever we want really. But we're just gonna have to accept. But if we're seeing something and we're seeing it actually developing, then for me, to a competitive team, a team that can actually compete in the Premier League and not struggle, and actually get through the periods of time where we can actually, battle through when we're not playing well and we're not performing well, and then we can grind out results. Then if we can put that into that team, and if we see the likes of Barry and Tyler Diblin, when they get their opportunities, and Alcaraz comes in and he shows what he's capable of. He's got the potential. He's still very young, and they've got these players, and if they can show what the potential that they have this season and grow and grow and grow, it's the world's your oyster, really, isn't it? And but you just don't know where you'll be in the league this season. You don't know where you're going to be. But I'm going off the now, and I want to enjoy it. What do you think out there, guys? From my perspective, it's great. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying wearing my top today. I've been out walking around where I live, with it on, and people, because I'm happy being an Evertonian. In the past, I used to not put my shirt on because I was scared to get, abuse thrown at me, or taking the mick out of why do you support Everton and all, because they're crap, aren't they? And it's just nice feeling that I can walk around and be a bit tall and feel that, yeah, you know, we've got a good team at the moment. I think we've got a good team. I think we're going in the right direction. You know, let's be positive. Let's go for it instead of trying to find. Yes, I nitpicked in the game. You have to. There is still a lot of work to be done. There is still mistakes being made. There's still errors being made. Players have to be consistent enough to do it, to get better. And all you have to do is look at players who consistently are performing and not making errors, not making mistakes, not doing that. And they need to actually do the same thing. The players they need to actually put their game on. Tarkowski yesterday, and this season he's been poor in his performances, and he's been making mistakes. He's been, error prone throughout. And as much as what my opinion is on Michael Keane is, Michael Keane's been the better player out of the two, which you wouldn't normally say. You wouldn't put that there. James Garner playing on that on the left side. You wouldn't. He doesn't play that often, but he's actually performed really well on that side and worked really hard, and he did yesterday. Well, he went on that side, working on that side as well, doing the left side job and did his job. That's all you can ask him to do, and it was another good performance for him. Let's hope he consistently does that, because we know what he can, what he's capable of, and what he can do. But then he can be absolutely terrible in games. Beto's the same. Beto inconsistency infuriates me. And Steve, yeah, I was so happy for him yesterday to score that goal and play well. I want him to do well. I want all the players to do well. I don't care who it is that comes into the team, who we sign. If they can do a job, if David Moyes thinks that they're good enough, if they're good enough for the team, great, and they can perform. But if they don't, they're going to get the criticism. They're going to get the criticism from me and everybody about the performance. That's as simple as that. Jack Grealish is probably going to get that as well. If he doesn't perform in the game, he's off the boil, something happens in the game, doesn't play the best, he'll get the criticism. Simple as that. Everybody does. That's part of football. But if they play well and perform, I'm going to tell them, well done, you played really well. And, the Premier League is such that every team that you play is a difficult game. It's always going to be a difficult game, whoever you play. And you still have to put performance in. And we did that yesterday, and we got the win. We're in this position. Everyone's in a really positive vibe, positive feel. Let's hope we can get some couple of players in for by tomorrow, and then we can really go into the international break, and we can look forward to when we play Villa, and then we can get all motivated again, and let's get behind the team again. And that's what you want. That's what we want. And that's all you can get. So, let me know in the comments below what you thought of the game yesterday, what you think of the way we're performing and the way we're doing. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get any players in before the window shuts tomorrow, or not? Let me know. Do you think? I think we need a centre mid and a right back. Maybe another striker, but because if Timothy is going, but we don't know what's going on. There is no links out there. There's nothing out there currently. Let me know who do you think that we will get any players in. The concerning thing, a part of me at this moment in time think that it doesn't look likely. I don't know, because you would have heard something by now. There would have been something put out by now. There isn't anything. Now, it might be more tomorrow. Well, just have to watch this space. So, yes, again, another great performance. Long may it continue, really. Long may it continue. Let's hope we get better and better. Let's hope that the rest of the players, we can rectify and correct the defensive issues and the mistakes that we are making, that we can pass the ball a lot more. Apologies. And just improve on that and just move forward and just get better and better. That's all we can do. And it's looked like we're going in the right pathway. That's the exciting thing in, and let's hope we can continue in this form and keep on going. And keep on moving up the table and just keep on battling away. And if we can get it right and keep on going, well, the world's your oyster, as they say. So anyway, that's today's podcast. I will be back with another episode of Rambling Toffee podcast, probably maybe next weekend, just to talk about the stadium, talk about everything and anything that is out there at the moment regarding Everton. Obviously, it's an international break, so I'll let you know nearer the time when that podcast is out. Other than that, thank you again for the support. Thank you again for always backing me and listening to my podcast, following me, giving me your opinions. It's absolutely amazing. I'm hoping this season's going to be a really good season that I'm looking forward to. Not always coming on here moaning and groaning about one thing after another. So, yes. So, thank you again for listening, watching. And I will speak to you again soon. This is the Rambling Toffee signing out. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.